It's NBA trade deadline starting tomorrow, and the league is a little bit quiet. We haven't heard too many rumblings. There's been rumors going around everywhere, but that's why we're here. I'm Noor Zainab next to Jelani, Goodridge-Reid, and Justin Pooni. And as I said, it's a little bit quieter in the league right now, guys. It's like the calm before the storm, and that's exactly why we're going to go over what we know so far, which is Trent Jr., another package being centered around him for the Spurs, and knowing that the trade deadline is exactly pretty much a day from right now. We're recording at I think 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m.
Yeah, so 3:46 p.m.
3:46 p.m.
Eastern,
So less
Eastern
than 24
Standard Time.
hours, the trade deadline ends. And will the Raptors even do anything? And what does that mean if they don't do anything? But first things first, Trent Jr., another report has leaked that the Raptors are trying to center a package around Trent to bring in Jakob and other draft compensations. But I also just learned Trent Jr., this guy right behind me, he's hosting a KFC court event at Bentway. Sorry, I thought it was KFC, my bad. Sorry, my bad. It's KFC court at Bentway tomorrow. And here's a gotcha moment. At 3:30 p.m., half an hour after the trade deadline. What's the thing, Justin?
Here's the thing. First of all, shout out to LeBron James breaking the NBA's all-time scoring record. You are the king.
Holy, we have a different show for this. We have a different show for this.
Anyway, Trent, here's the thing. Trades can be called in, and there's a backlog at 3 p.m. So Trent might do the event and find out at 4 o'clock that his ass is going to San Antonio.
But my question for you guys is, what does this mean for his future?
I don't think that means anything, really. I think it's the endorsement type of thing. I don't think that's it. I think it's...
But as a guy who's clearly centered around trade talks right now, right? Like, every team is talking about you, and the Raptors seem very open to moving you, and your contract's coming up. And hold on a second, you're headlining everything. You, by yourself, doing that, booking something with the team that might be moving you half an hour after the trade deadline, is that not ballsy?
But Trent gets paid for these endorsement opportunities, right? If it's not a certainty he's going to get traded, right? Why would you just leave free money on the table, right? Why would you do that, right?
Well, the deals, like you said, they finalize after. Like, okay, yes, a lot of guys might get traded by that deadline, but then they're official later on, so you never know. It's going to be awkward if he does get traded. That's going to be kind of fun. I'm not going to lie.
I think people are reading too much into it.
But if you're asking me, I don't think he's going to get moved. I think Gary's safe.
Really?
Yeah, I think I've changed course on that.
Wow.
I think that the Raptors, they see him as a younger asset out of the out of those 4 dudes.
Right. So you think someone else kind of took the...
Me, no, but I think the Raptors might feel like they should pay him because moving forward, you're going to keep that guy. He's a younger piece, so maybe they might want to give him his money. Me, that's a whole other discussion, but I think the Raptors might want to keep him, have him with Scotty moving forward, and I don't see a Pascal trade right now. I just don't think that's going to happen.
So how do you feel about the latest report about
with
the whole
Jakob? I mean, okay, again, we did draft him, so former Raptor, yes. He has been a double-double guy this season. He's able to do that for you. But this season right now. But for me, I don't think the Raptors should do it. I know the center is a position where, it is a position of need. Yeah. If you're looking at the depth there, the lack thereof, yes, the Raptors could use some help in that aspect, that area. But I don't think that Jakob should be the guy. If you're asking me, I'd rather keep Gary and pay him rather than bringing in Poeltl.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think, look, we talked about a couple weeks when the Poeltl rumors kind of first started, right? Yeah. It doesn't move the needle for anything, right? Like, what does this entail? You're rebuilding.
You become a better defensive team, but then you lose the shooting. So it's like you become stay right where you are.
It's a stopgap move.
And I get it. He is cheaper. I understand.
But Poeltl's not younger, right? That's why I don't understand the infatuation with Jakob. Yes, he may feel the center need, but I think Trent fits a bigger need. You might as well just rather keep Trent.
He can shoot. Remember, he can shoot the basketball, and he is active on the defensive side of the ball.
He's becoming a better defender.
He's a disruptor on the defensive side of the ball. I don't understand it. Again, it could just be Masai putting this out there, trying to drive the price of Trent Jr. up. It's we never really know what's going on. One day there's one rumor, another day there's another rumor. For all we don't know anything that can happen. Right?
Watch nothing happen.
Watch the Raptors do nothing at all, which would be a colossal mistake.
So, what if the Raptors don't do
Oh, no.
It'll be a colossal mistake.
Or
It'll be a mistake.
they better not do that.
That would be the worst thing they could possibly do.
We've been talking about this every single show. They better do something.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
the time is
time.
ticking. We're about a day off from the Raptors. The clock's going to go boing, and it's going to be like, okay, well, Masai.
The clock goes boing.
Is it going to go boing? Ding. I don't know. What's
ding.
the hour thing? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Ding, whatever. The bells chiming or everything in the background. Once that happens and no changes have been made to the roster, how will this franchise and the fans view Masai and Bobby?
Okay, as a fan myself, if nothing happens here, what are we doing? That's my question. What are the Raptors trying to do? Are you trying to contend with this group by standing pat and saying, you know what, let's try it, Vision 6-9, or are you gonna restart? Are you gonna tell us that, you know what, we understand there's been the ceiling here, we've had those playoff appearances and nothing more, and we understand this year hasn't gone our way. Maybe it's time. The value is there for all these guys to be traded.
Yeah.
Sadly, we don't want to see them go, but this might be the best time to do so and get younger. I think this is the best time to do that second option, right? Yeah. You do not, at this point, there's no point to just do nothing, okay? Also, unless you want to stay where you're at right now. Okay, where you're vying for a glorified 9 seed.
Bad place to
but
be.
also the way that where everything's unfolding right now, right? You have 2 guys on your roster that need to get paid. So does that mean the Raptors will now, Justin, pay Gary Trent Jr. and Fred VanVleet?
I don't think so. I've said, look, I think Fred VanVleet can play on any NBA team anywhere. The guy has all the intangibles and all the skill to be an all-star point guard in this league.
Yeah, you want him to lead your team next to LeBron. We know this.
Yeah, the Lakers aren't my team, right?
I'm LeBron. Your team alone with LeBron and Fred VanVleet.
False propaganda.
Sorry, my bad to LeBron lovers. My bad.
Look, when it comes to Fred, for what he's asking for, it doesn't match up with the timeline of the Toronto Raptors. And my point of view with the Toronto Raptors is this: you have very good pieces right now. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Gary Trent, Fred VanVleet, very good pieces that has warranted all these teams to be interested in you as a trading partner, right? When you look at this team, they're stuck in the middle. And that's in sports, that's the worst place to be, because you're not bad enough to tank, and you're not good enough to compete with the big dogs in the Eastern Conference. And I think the Raptors are in a position right now where, look, a little bit of pain in this with this roster and the fan base, might be exactly what this team needs to have sustainable success. And to me, sustainability is more important than a 9 or 10 seed in a play in 1 year, right? To me, if the Raptors really want to truly go back to being contenders for what they were for, pretty much 6, 7 years, right?
Yeah,
where they're one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. If they really want to go back to that, they really have to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, look, this group, they did amazing things last year. They surprised the NBA. Yeah. They really bounced back, but it's just not it.
They're a confused team. They're a very confusing
team, right? Yeah. And I think the fan base and we need to understand that, look, we have good players, but they're not the players that are going to get us to compete with the guys with Giannis and Tatum and Butler in the playoffs and Bam. They're just not those type of players, right? And that's fine, but you have to be able to pivot off of them and understand, look, if we have to see that down the road, plan things out, right? Maybe the next 2 years, we won't be our year, but hey, we can get assets, younger players, and then after that, the East could run through Toronto for the next 7 years after that, right? And that's what I think the organization should go towards. I think that's just...
I think I'll give them one thing, though. I think if they don't do anything as of tomorrow, there's one thing the Raptor fans out there can hold on to, and it's the fact that these guys are not bad players. They are good players, right? The fact that they're demanding so much out there from the league and they're so in talks about the rumors, it means they're good players. And you watched them play last year, you showed that they're good players, right? Individually, they're good. When they play together and they're a team, they're good. Are they a couple pieces away from contending? Absolutely. This was my theory on them the whole time, where it was like, this team, when they play well together, the egos have been set aside. The roles are clear. They're closer to contending than they are to tanking, right? And if that's the case, you can make a case at some point if a big star becomes available, just like Kevin Durant, maybe this summer he might be available, right? You might be able to, maybe not Kevin Durant, but you might be able to bring someone in. But Also, that's also why I think maybe that's what Masai and Bobby are thinking, because they're like, we've seen these guys. We know what they're capable of. Last year was a whole different record, whole different vibe, whole different team. So what's changed now? If they're able to set aside egos, if they're able to distinguish roles and establish everyone's role on the court, they still need to make a couple changes there, right? Someone still needs to go and come out. There needs to be a proper PG, an actual center, and not Jakob Poeltl. I'm sorry. If anyone you want to pay for it, bring in Nick Claxton, please and thank you. But that's pretty much it. But I think in terms of if they don't make a move, you do have some good things to hang out to be like, these are good players.
Hopefully the bench would wake up, though, and that aspect,
well,
right?
that also has to kind of fall on Nick Nurse, right? To be like, you got to give them reps. Like, let them come on the court.
And let me ask you guys this. I know we're running out of time and stuff like that, but when you look at it, yes, Gary and Fred need to get paid this offseason, but Siakam's going to be eligible for that max, super max extension.
Yeah.
Does that timeline offering a 30-plus-year-old Pascal Siakam,
well, that's the question.
Max, is that the right idea for sustaining? Because that's going to eat a whole bunch of cap space, right? And then that's going to limit your flexibility, right? And I think the Raptors are in a position where they need to have extreme flexibility, whether that's draft capital, cap space, players to move in and out.
But I think that's also if that's the right what they want to go down. Because Masai and Bobby, like Masai's a very smart man. He's gonna think about Pascal Supermax, think about whatever moves he makes now is gonna have to be the team 6 months from now, a year from now.
You gotta look at those four guys. So
that's why I'm like, because these are still the guys that have made this team, they've put this roster together, we've won a championship with the guys who are running the franchise. I will give them the benefit of the doubt to say they might have a different vision plan, right? They might have something else cooking. If it's Vision 6-9, then I might have to jump off the board. But if it's a different plan about keeping these guys and maybe, trade them in the offseason, figure out other values, other picks that are out there. Or, again, like I said, they might think this team is too good and they're closer to being a better team than they are being a bad team. So,
yeah, well, that's where we talk about they're stuck. They're like the most confused team in basketball right now on what to do, because you're asking, okay, those four guys, which one does fit the timeline properly right now, and who can we move off of? If you're talking about Siakam specifically, that would be, I don't think a trade would happen now. That would probably be off-season. If you're going to move him, that would be off-season.
Unless it's the Godfather offer, like you're saying, right?
Again, I just think right now, the Raptors got to do something.
Yeah,
they cannot just stay in this spot and feel like, you know what, we're good. We're good here. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to do anything.
We need urgency. Us fans at this point, seeing this record, seeing this team, you need urgency. Only reason why I say to believe in the front office is because I'm like, if they don't do anything, they stand pat, there might be something churning in the background that we don't know about. Or maybe they tried to make deals, right? Nothing came to fruition, and they thought, oh, that's not what our guy's worth. We're going to wait.
And Masai, we trust. I still trust this organization, one of the better ran organizations. But right now, I do want something to happen. I do.
Well, Masai, Ujiri, Bobby Webster, you got 1 day, less than a day actually, it's 24 hours at this point. Show us what you can do. Show us the magicians that you are. Pick up that BlackBerry, make some calls. But if you don't, I'm going to believe that it might be for a reason. And we will see tomorrow after the trade deadline around 4 p.m. when we shoot to see what this team looks like, who's still on the squad, and if the Raptors get the win tonight against the Spurs. Yes, they have a game going on.
They better.
They should win.
They better. They better
win. All right, take care, guys. I'm Noor, Zainab, Jelani, Goodridge-Reid, Justin, Pooni, Jelani, Tongue Twister.
I mess it up too.
We'll see you next time on Homestand NBA.